presumably Hong Kong harbour, or
no, that's that would be Macau. We've already arrived in Macau on the ferry from Hong Kong. There's sorted junks there.
What's that church on top of the hill? Is that famous?
I don't know many locations in Macau. I've been there for breaks from time to time, but don't recognise anything except that was part of the... right, this is the Portuguese Navy.
It was a Portuguese colony, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's the... these are the ferries to Hong Kong. Right, presumably that's all the... If they've got a tie on, that's probably a driver or an official. A Portuguese police, a Portuguese gunboat. Obviously, these people never thought they were going to be returned to China. Right, this is
racing.
There's the Dellow Mk.2.
With you behind the wheel,
presumably. Yeah, wearing an army tin helmet. This is presumably the practice. That's the Dellow and Austin Healey, I think, wasn't it? I mean, bearing in mind this is a fairly small... here we are. There's my... Then that's... Jimmy... and the garage that sponsored me. Right, there's the Doug Steen with the Mercedes. That was the Sideways Special.
The number 12.
Yeah, which I drove the following year. No, not because I was any good, but nobody else was prepared to risk their life in it. Right. I mean, lovely scenic circuit.
It's quite a hill climb there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are coming down from the mountain.
Yeah. So a nice twisty circuit, ideal for... I don't know whether they still use that circuit. Right, the Sideways Special. That's...
Who's the Chinese lady racer? That would have seemed an unusual thing.
I don't remember. I should do, of course. That's the Austin Healey towed in. I don't know why. I have to try and remember people's names for this. I say that again, the Sideways Special. It was a Citroen engine, I think. There's...
It's amazing the variety of cars that were competing, isn't it?
Well, there's several races. There was the Grand Prix itself, but then there was a, saloon race and all sorts of variations. So even the owner wasn't prepared to drive that a year later.
What's that being pushed in by the... chaps.
It's
number 5.
Hand-built special. It's not me. It looks a bit... that's... right. The story behind
number
this...
Number 14.
That was a Mondial Ferrari. The governor of Macau was reputed to have a very ugly daughter, and this naval officer agreed to marry her, provided he bought him a Ferrari, which we will see the tragic departure of the Ferrari at a later stage into the sea.
Oh dear. So that's the Dellow there?
That's again? The Dellow there, yes.
Under the Fiat.
Right, yes, the Regent Motors, right.
They were the ones who sponsored you.
Yeah. Willie Shea, that's it, who owned Regent Motors. He was half Chinese, half English.
This is the number 12.
The sideways.
The sideways again. So what was it we've just missed? That car that was...
An MG.
Right.
I don't know why we filmed all that.
There's a heck of a lot of filming of this, and
yeah, well,
less of the
here
Dellow.
we are. That's the earlier race, the Jaguar. I mean, this race, obviously, as you can see, Jaguar, Ford Zephyr, two TRs, right, a Le Mans start. You know, we all run into our cars.
And you were last in the position. That's a proper helmet there now.
No, I think it's. I haven't got a helmet. No, it's still a
tin hat.
Army tin hat.
Well, off you go.
Off we go. Yeah.
How many laps is it?
I don't know. There's the two TRs in front. Followed by the Zephyr, the Dellow, and the Jaguar.
It's a pity there's no sound, isn't it? I'd love to hear the noise they make as they go by. We could always imitate the noises. They're coming round the bend here, out in around the bay.
Yeah. And then they'll turn left in a moment and come past through the pits.
It is very scenic, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, my lady friend Barbara did the filming.
No, she's possibly the lady we see later on. I was wondering who that was.
Bit of all right, Barbara.
She's very attractive.
Yeah.
That's what passes for a crash barrier. Bit of bamboo lashed together.
I've just remembered the name of the driver of the Ferrari.
Yeah?
Fernando A. de Macedo Pinto.
Fantastic.
I think if you Google that, you'll find his history. I'll have a look at my... I'll Google him in a bit. I think he went on to great things, but...
Is this you coming round that little red dot?
Possibly. I think we're failing gradually now.
So what went wrong with the engine?
In my ignorance, I had a certain amount shaved off the cylinder head. It should have been accompanied by a gasket, but yeah. You see, it's just a tin helmet again.
So the shaving off of the cylinder head was to try and squeeze a little extra power from it.
Yeah, but it was a ridiculous mistake. There's Barbara, me. I don't know who's doing the filming. The sideways special.
So what are the symptoms that first start kicking in when you realise the mistake you've made? Are you losing power, or is it fouling the plugs?
Overheating, I think.
Right.
That's I think that's an Aston Martin.
The black car.
Yeah.
Currently going up the hill.
Right, which one is this? Is that the Ferrari? I think it is. This is Fernando A. de Macedo Pinto.
There's the Dellow. Barbara putting the bonnet back on. So how hot was it? Very, or just standard heat for Hong Kong and Macau?
Well, if you look at current temperatures, Hong Kong is much hotter than here, isn't it?
That's the Ferrari then, yeah?
Yeah. But it's ideal racing circuit, easy to manage. And
this was the first time they'd done this? This is the first ever Macau Grand Prix?
I think this might have been the second one, and I drove in the one the following year.
But not a Dellow?
No, in that thing.
Right.
Right, so it's back in the pits now.
So these are the chaps lent to you by this friendly garage.
Yeah.
Who are these?
Oh, that's
chaps?
He was the winner. Bob, I think of his name. He was an RAF sergeant.
Oh, right.
No, RAF corporal. I don't know what they're doing.
Did you get on with them all, or were you treated as an outsider?
Well, no, because they were servicemen. I mean,
as were you.
There's two Aston Martins. That's an Aston Martin. That's Austin Healey, of course. Another Austin Healey.
Number 4.
And there's Doug Steen and the Mercedes. I've forgotten what that was, but as you see, it was very... I'm trying to think what that motif was.
There'll no doubt be people in the Dellow register who will know what that was.
No, there won't be anybody who can advise on any of that. Have we got the year?
No. Is it late 50s or early 50s? Is it like 56?
We'll have to work. It's easier to work out.
When did you leave Hong Kong?
I don't know.
So I've got the footage of you leaving Hong Kong on the...
I think we really need to write out, from 15 onwards, when I left to start work and all that sort of thing. I was Bob Ritchie, that was the... Bob Ritchie and Doug Steen were first and second. Is this the... There's the Ferrari.
So they're lining up here for the main race, presumably?
Yeah. So you've got the Ferrari, there we are.
You wear the flat cap throughout, is that and you've got a scarf on?
Yeah.
Any reason? Was a scarf pulled up over your face to protect you from the dust, or...?
No, just to keep the sun off. I think that's the governor's wife. These are all the dignitaries, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the governor. Oh, yes, there's the drivers lining up, yeah.
And you're stood in the background there, as a sort of taking it,
yeah.
Typically not pushing yourself forward.
Mm.
So this will be the main race starting off here?
I think it must be, absolutely.
Certainly it's got the crowd and the anticipation.
Yeah, right. So the Ferrari...
shoots off.
Yeah.
Leaving everyone in its dust.
But then, there he is, well ahead. And I can't think why he ended up in the sea, but he did.
He probably couldn't face the wife he'd committed to.
No, I don't think he drowned. I think So at that point, there's...
So this is Barbara filming this. She's done a good job of it, hasn't she?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the other special.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Is that you just going past then again?
Must be, but you don't...
There you go. I notice here you down that bottle of Coke in very short order. It must have been absolutely...
right. I think this is... They first realised we have a problem. That's Willie Shea, that is. Right, yes, obviously we boiled dry, so we're off again. That's the Aston Martin in front of the...
Is you coming round again?
Yeah. But of course you can't tell what position I'm in at this point. TR Austin Healey.
The other Austin Healey?
I'm not too sure.
The green one. And then that's the Mercedes.
It is, yeah. Closely followed by the Dellow. That's side... Doug Steen again. I think Bob Ritchie is driving.
Here's you pushing, and you're saying, no, you can't help me because I will then be disqualified.
Yeah.
So how far from the pits were you, or from the finish
line?
The
length of the promenade there.
Right, so it could have been worse.
Could have been worse, yeah. I think if it
had been worse, you wouldn't have...
I wouldn't have even tried to.
So by pushing it over the line, you ended up with a place?
I did get a cuff. I don't know what's happened to it. Vencedor de Class 4 or something.
Right.
The cup had been prepared in advance, so whether I finished or not, I still got it. Yes, I'm in the pits by now, and this is the finish of the race.
And you say there's some sort of footage of the Ferrari being hoisted out of
No, I don't think so. I think the deep recesses of my memory tell me that that's what happened. I mean, ownership of an Austin Healey or a TR was a bit special in those days, of course. And Aston Martin, very special, yes.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yes, and the absence of the Ferrari must mean that, it's probably when he went down the slope there into the sea.
Right. Yes, I should imagine that's easily done. There's no wall protecting that bit.
No.
What's that?
Aston Martin.
The Aston again.
There's open top Aston and saloon, GT Aston Martin. There's quite a crowd there by now. All Chinese, of course. Don't seem to be many Europeans. Now, why has he been
flagged down? Must have been very exciting, this early days of motor racing, but you wouldn't have realised it was early days.
Oh, well, no, well, you never think of anything because you never think you're making history or part of history until many years later. Aston Martin.
Well, this is what, 70 years old now? That'd be right? Yes.
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Which makes you very, very old.
Exactly. Yes, I mean, you weren't even thought of till many years later, so... he's Chinese.
So you were out, but the cars kept on doing laps for some while after, unless this is another race.
Well, I think it must still be the same. I don't, yeah.
Because it wouldn't have been re-edited. This is the order in which it's been shot.
Yeah. I can't think how long the race was, or... Yeah, well, they're still getting signals, so the race must be going on. Obviously, once I was out, it didn't make any difference.
Any idea what sort of camera you were filming it on?
Payard Bolex 8mm. God knows where it is. You haven't got the camera then?
No, not the camera, just the projectors.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Because colour film was an absolute fortune back then.
Mm.
This would have been quite a precious commodity.
Yeah.
There's the Aston again.
You're getting to know the...
Yeah, well, it's good that I've got someone with me to identify. I wouldn't have a clue.
I don't know whether we're going to see the finish. At least I wasn't in the sea.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can't think why the Mercedes is left-hand drive. Perhaps it brought it over from Germany.
So you had the Dellow shipped over, right?
Now, the story behind that is I was looking forward to getting my traditional Dellow, the one I'd had.
A marque what?
Mk.2, having it shipped out. Only when it got to the docks, it was stripped of headlights and everything. And the factory, Ron and Dad were advised that the car had been stripped of all its equipment. So they collected it back. And either Ron or Dad had the bright idea that I should... have one of the new Mk.5s, because Roy Eggington, Dad's partner, also had one. So I was very disappointed when the Mk.5 was shipped out, because only 2 people could be squeezed into the Mk.5, whereas my Mk.2, on one occasion in Cannock, I was stopped by the police. I'd got five of us in it. But we're all in uniform. The police waved us down and said, "Don't do it again, bad boy." You get away with anything if you were in uniform in those days. Austin Healey, I think. Yeah, that would be Bob Ritchie and the... Yes, Bob Ritchie, I think, beat... So that was the checkered flag. So that would be Bob Ritchie winning and Doug Steen coming second. And I think one of the TRs came third. That's Bob Ritchie doing his victory lap in the Austin Healey.
With someone sitting on his bonnet?
Yeah, well, they did a mechanic, because he'd won then.
Right.
There he is with the... It's a nice chap, Bob Ritchie.
With his laurels.
Yeah. I'm glad we've got this bit. I'd forgotten about that, yeah.
It's good footage.
And there's Doug Steen. And that's the owner of the Austin Healey garage, I think.
The chap, the blonde chap
Yeah.
with a leather jacket and sunglasses.
Yeah.
He looks very cool. Mind you, everyone did back then.
Yeah. So I met him years later and gave him my copy of the... Oh, here's the governor. Radio Villa Verde, yes.
I like details like that. Hong Kong Motorsports Club.
Yeah. Oh, this is a hill climb.
So this is separate now.
Separate now.
Footage.
This is a... I did quite a few driving tests. I always won because it was an ideal car for driving tests. So. Now, where was this? I sort of back in Hong Kong, but yes, that cap was de rigueur, yeah.
And what's that, the number 17? That wasn't the Dellow, was it?
Are we sure?
I don't know. It wouldn't have necessarily kept the same number all the time, would it?
No. And it was, yeah, Sports Club of Hong Kong, yeah, start.
There's you in your tin hat again. No, that's not you, is it?
No.
Who is it?
Somebody in a TR, isn't it? Oh, that's a Porsche, yeah. Now, where's this? TR. Porsche.
It's
What
that
is
red
that?
thing.
MG, isn't it?
Oh, so this is the driving test bit you were talking about, like braking on a
Yes,
particular...
yeah.
Driving around a perfect circle, braking on a particular line.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's such a weird thing. They wouldn't be allowing the public to stand that close these days.
No. And presumably the Dellow was off the road, I think, for 12 months before I got it back again.
So it went to your friend, the Fiat garage?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, stupidly, the simple Ford engine must have been readily available. But I ran out of money, I think. Oh, yes, we bought... Pete Ruffles and I, between us, bought a Peugeot, and we used to share that. It was a more useful car than the Dellow, actually. It's a strange driving test. I don't know whether they do it today.
On this lunge, as if it's a horse being trained.
Mm. Well, it's at least if...
It's about to end now. There you go.
Right.